Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Special Angus Licensing Board and remind all attendees that this meeting is being recorded and webcast live on the Council's YouTube channel. Could I remind all attendees to mute their microphone when not speaking? Okay, if we move to item 1, apologies for absence. Do we have apologies?
There's no apologies, Councillor, and Councillors Fotheringham, Scott and Nicholl are joined us remotely this morning. The rest of the members are in the chamber. Convener.
Thank you. We move to item 2, declarations of interest and statements of transparency. Do we have any? No? Thank you. We'll now go on to item 3, review of premises licence. Report number LB 6423. Now this review is brought about by licence holders failing to pay the licence fee. The licence fee, I understand, is due at the beginning of October each year. And unfortunately, each year we find that for one reason or another, some licence holders don't pay the licence fee. Now, we had a list at an earlier date which ran to about 70 licensed premises. That has now reduced, and I'll bring in our legal representative to give us an update on what's actually left in terms of non-payment.
Thank you, Convener. If we go through the list that you've got in your papers, I'll give you a very quick update. Park Bar Brechin, the licence has been surrendered, so that is just for noting, if the board would note that has been surrendered. The Rupali Restaurant in Forfar, again, they have paid but also surrendered their licence. Finhaven Hotel in Forfar, that licence ceased to have effect in May 2023 as the company went into liquidation, so by operation of law, that licence has gone. Shimla, we've had no response, so that is one that you will need to consider today. Webster Memorial has paid, Strathmore Cricket has paid, Airlie Lodge has paid, Brown Horse in Brechin, again no response, that is one you will need to consider today. Caledonian Golf in Montrose has paid, the Booker Hotel in Carnoustie has paid, Coast Lower in Arbroath, that licence has ceased to have effect in November last year due to the company going into liquidation, so that's just again for noting. Webmore's has paid, Shotspool and Snooker in Arbroath has paid, Panzerotti Cafe, no response, so that's one that you will need to consider today. The Attic Club in Kirriemuir have paid, Cashley's in Forfar, no reply, that's one that will need to be considered, as will Cliffburn Hotel in Arbroath, because we've had no reply for that. So there are only 5 that really need to be considered by the board this morning.
Thank you very much for that. So quite a reduction from, I think, 70 to 5. Now, my understanding is that these... sorry, we have a question. Councillor Clark.
It's actually a statement, Convener, in that Cashley's at 1 Castle Street in Forfar, I don't know if it's relevant or not, is actually closed. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we understand that the 5 that are left have not responded to communication, and where we have had some communication back, it appears that they are actually closed. I think that's probably true of all of them. But what we need to do today is determine what we, as a board, are going to actually do about this. Are there any questions about this so far? No? Okay, do we need to go through one at a time, or can we just take them as a block?
Ideally, I would prefer you, if you could, just very briefly.
Yeah. If we start with the Shimla, which I think is first on the list of non-payers, I think our belief is that that is closed, and we have written and got nothing back. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. The reports have been emailed, all the correspondence has gone out, but no response, and that is our understanding, that it is closed.
Question from Councillor White.
In those circumstances, could we just agree to revoke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that was going to be certainly my recommendation on that. So are we happy to revoke that licence? Okay. If we move to then now the Brown Horse, which is Market Street, Brechin, again, we believe that this premises is closed and may have been for some time. The circumstances are the same. We have a question, do we? Councillor Scott, you got a question?
No, Councillor Meehan, I was just going to say, yeah, that's been closed for some time. Doesn't look like it'll be reopening anytime soon. So again, I would say we should revoke like the last one. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Are we agreed that that licence be revoked? Moving on then to the Passarotti Cafe and Bakery. That's in Forfar. Again, we have written and got nothing back. We believe that it is closed. Are we agreed to revoke in that case? Yep.
Agreed.
Moving on to Cashley's, and again in Forfar. I think we've heard that that is closed. We agreed to revoke that one. Agreed. On to the Cliffburn Hotel in Arbroath. We believe that that is closed.
Yeah, convener, I'm not sure if it's closed. I've not been there for a wee while, so
Okay.
I'm not sure the circumstances there.
Councillor Gregg?
Thank you, convener. Perhaps if we're unsure if it's closed, can we suspend that one for a period of time?
If we're unsure, then that's maybe a good course of action. So if we suspend that, now if we suspend it, we'll have to, for what? For how long?
Can we suspend it until the licence fee is paid?
We can do that? Yep. Have we agreed? Agreed. Yeah, Councillor Gregg?
Thank you. Just before we move off of this one, as I mentioned at the licensing board meeting last time, there were quite a few, well, 20 of these premises had appeared in this updated list from last year as well, so exactly the same premises. So I think going forward, it's obviously it's an ongoing problem. So is it possible for us to have something written in where that we can, if a licence fee hasn't been paid by the date it's due, which I believe is the 1st of October, that as soon as that's been established, that it's delegated authority that these licences are suspended until the licence is paid. Can we do that?
Unfortunately not, because it would prompt it into a review hearing, which is in the sole domain of the board. That can't be delegated. That's not one that can be.
Councillor Braze.
Yes, at the previous meeting discussing this, I inquired whether it was possible for direct debits to be set up. Is that a possibility?
That's something we're exploring with finance at the moment, absolutely.
Thank you.
Councillor Whiteside, did you have a question? No. So I've actually written a bit here, looking at the determination. Firstly, it was to just to re-emphasise what legal advised us, that any determination we make on the cases before us need to be related to the licensing objectives and cannot be punitive in nature. We're not here to mete out punishment for non-payment of licence fees. That task would fall to the police as a criminal matter. I would argue that non-payment of the annual fee is a licensing offence and therefore a criminal matter. Being a criminal matter, it clearly clashes with at least one of the licensing objectives, that is the preventing crime and disorder. So in revoking these licences of those who failed to pay, we're thereby alleviating the criminal act. Now that was just so we've got a basis of our decision. Everybody okay with that? No. Okay. can we maybe take a
2 minutes.
little break for 2 minutes while we talk to John?
John, could you stop the live stream for 5 minutes, please?
Welcome back, everybody. We'll move now to agenda item number 4, report LB 6523, and this is applications for occasional licences. The Coast Bar and Restaurant, 4 Gravesend Road, Arbroath. This one looks as if there's no one to talk to this, is there?
There's written submission.
Oh, that was the written submission that came in early this morning from Mrs. Hood. Are there any questions on this application? I mean, it seems to me fairly straightforward. Councillor Gray? Yeah, comment, fine.
Thank you. Reading through the submission from their solicitor Janet Hood and their application, and they've already had a series of occasional licences, and then the dates that they've got requested, so they're basically looking for continuous operation from the 15th of December through to the 11th of April, asking to terminate at 2 o'clock in the morning, which, as stated from the LSO's report, is contrary to the board policy. Whilst it also states that they're looking to apply for a full licence again whilst this is going through. My slight concern is that by granting them the occasional licence outside of the board policy hours, which we can do with an occasional licence, but it's given them a slight advantage over other premises within Arbroath by giving them that additional hour. And then the other slight concern with that is that come the end of the occasional licences, when they then apply for their full licence, I suspect they're probably going to apply for 2 o'clock, and because they've already had it for such a long period of time, that might then cause issues because it's going to continue to be out with the board's policy. So just slight concerns with that there.
If it helps, historically, Coast had a premises licence and it was till 2 a.m. Not that that binds you in terms of your decisions today or for a future premises licence, but what they're saying is we're replicating what they had before that was granted by the board. So just to give a set of context, as I say, it doesn't bind your decisions at all.
No, not yet. Councillor Fotheringham.
Thank you, Convener. Like yourself, Convener, I think this is quite straightforward. I hear what Councillor Gregg's saying. However, this has been running, as Mr McQueen has said, and they've had 2 a.m.s on the days that Mrs Hood has suggested or stating in her email for quite some time. There has been no issues. I may have taken a different view had there not been an application put in for a major variation to the licence, so I have no issue with this one at all. Thank you.
Councillor Durno.
Similar to Councillor Fotheringham, we have got another nightclub in the town that is similar, that's open till 2, and it is, because it's a nightclub as well, Coast, as well as a restaurant. I think it should just be in par with that one. Thanks.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, if we move then to the recommendations. 1, to grant the application subject to the mandatory conditions and any other discretionary or local conditions which the board may wish to impose. Or 2, to refuse the application of one or more of the grounds referred to in paragraph 3.2, remembering that if we refuse, it has to be on the grounds, one of the grounds referred to in paragraph 3.2. Can we have... I think the application in this case. Okay, anyone else? Are we okay? Okay, agreed. Thank you very much. I think that finishes, does it? Yes. Finishes business.
John, could you stop the live stream, please?